Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Joseph Williams with your Valley News Now evening forecast. And it looks quiet outside. We just have some clouds. It's a classic winter night. We have a temperature of 2 degrees as of 6:46 p.m. in the Fargo-Moorhead area. So it is frigid outside. And it's going to be like that, heading into your morning commute. But the main story is that we have two first alert weather days coming up for this Monday and Tuesday, because we have snow coming down across our region for both Monday and Tuesday. Again, thanks for joining us. First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Joseph Williams with your Valley News Now evening forecast. So let's kind of get straight to the forecast just to kind of show you what I mean. Basically, we have this area of low pressure. We have a couple of areas of low pressure that are going to be moving in on Monday and Tuesday, and that's going to lead to some snow accumulation across the region. Our first of two first alert weather days will basically be for Monday, because we're looking at some light snow in the northern areas of our region. Basically between late morning and mid-evening, we'll see some snow accumulations out in the northern valley and particularly northwest Minnesota, with some snow accumulation even affecting portions of Lakes Country too. And I'll go over those snow totals for Monday in just a second. But more importantly, we have our winter storm that's going to move in, bring some moderate to high amount of snowfall in the northern areas of our region, some mixed down south, and all the while strong wind gusts will push through. And that's going to lead to some flying debris. That's going to lead to some blowing snow, lead to low visibility, making for a very messy Tuesday. So basically Monday and Tuesday night, we have our first alert weather day, because slick roads are going to be a given with this active weather pattern that's heading our way. So let's get right to the forecast to kind of show you what I mean. Again, we have those first alert weather days for Monday and Tuesday, and it's all thanks to these two low pressure systems that I'm showing on this surface map right here. These are our next weather makers. You see this? This is the jet stream. And the jet stream is more or less oriented so that you have a ridge out in the Pacific, and you have a trough that's in the central and eastern U.S. And these low pressure systems have been following this jet stream pattern for quite some time, and that's what's led to us seeing these repeated rounds of snow and cold across our region. And these two low pressure systems, these two clippers right here, they're just the latest in these rounds of snow and cold that we've seen. Now, we'll see a brief warm-up take place on Monday and Tuesday as these clipper systems close in on our region. But after this clipper system out in the Pacific moves out, well, we're going to be under yet another Arctic air mass. Let's take a closer look at what's happening right now. We've had some light snow moving into the James River Valley. There's still some light snow coming down out in southeast North Dakota, as indicated on the satellite radar here. But this moisture will move out over the next several hours. I'm thinking by midnight, any leftover snowflakes will be east of our region. And thereafter, we're looking at a quiet Monday morning commute. However, we get that first clipper system that I showed you, that starts moving in late morning into the afternoon hours. So around 11 o'clock, we'll see some snow showers in the Devil's Lake Basin. So if you're in Devil's Lake or Rolla, you'll see some snowflakes coming down around that time. A swath of snow crosses over I-94 around 2 p.m. So if you're on I-29 by 1 to 2 o'clock, you'll see some snow, maybe some slick spots in the roads, and this will be especially noticeable if you're in the northern valley where that snow will be heaviest. The swath of snow then moves into northwest Minnesota around 3 to 4 p.m. And so by 5 p.m., practically all of northwest Minnesota is seeing something. Again, the northern areas will be most impacted. And then we'll see that swath of snow moving east of our region after 9 to 10 o'clock, leaving behind cloudy, dry conditions across the region. By the time the snow moves out, we're probably looking at about 2 to 4 inches of accumulation out of the international border, 1 to 3 between northeast North Dakota and Lakes Country, and less than an inch if you're in the James River Valley. So the further north and east you go, the more snow you end up seeing, and the better chance of seeing the slick roads. Around the same time we see that snow accumulation take place, we could see a couple of strong wind gusts during the afternoon and evening hours. The good news is that although winds will be on the strong side in the southern valley, we could see wind gusts in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range around 4 to 5 o'clock, and we'll see those wind gusts still staying in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range in the southern valley for Monday evening. By midnight, the winds do die down. Now again, The good news is that the strongest winds will be in the southern valley, where we're not anticipating much snow accumulation. But if you are in lakes country, those wind gusts could cause some blowing snow, which could lead to a few more slick spots in the roads and a couple bouts of low visibility. So if you're traveling Monday evening as the snow comes down in northwest Minnesota, that is something to consider. We could see some wind gusts too, kicking up that snow and leading to some low visibility. Then we get to our main story for this week. First little weather day for Tuesday. We have some winter weather alerts. We actually have a winter storm watch for practically all of the central and northern valley, including northwest Minnesota, and a high wind watch for the James River Valley and the North Dakota-South Dakota border. That's because with that winter storm watch, we could see some freezing rain during the morning hours, particularly in the southern areas. That turns into heavy snow during the afternoon and evening hours. And since wind gusts will be up to 40 miles per hour, we'll see some instances of blowing and drifting snow, leading to low visibility. As for that high wind watch, that's because while these areas won't see as much wintry precipitation, they will see wind gusts exceeding 35 miles per hour. And we could see wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour. That could lead to blowing snow, driving difficulties, and you'll want to tie down any outdoor items because otherwise they could get blown around and you could wind up with flying debris. So we're talking about really strong winds here. Here's what that looks like on our first alert forecast here. Basically, starting at 5 to 6 a.m., we'll see some rain and wintry mix on the Devil's Lake Basin, snow and wintry mix in the Devil's Lake Basin, and then some rain and wintry mix in the James River Valley. Then we'll see that precipitation moving east-southeast throughout Tuesday morning. And so by noon, heading into 1 o'clock, a swath of snow will be impacting the Devil's Lake Basin, northwest Minnesota, and Lakes Country, whereas southeast North Dakota, including the James River Valley, we'll see some icing potential or otherwise some rain showers. So basically, if you're in southeast North Dakota Tuesday afternoon, you may see some rain and wintry mix. Otherwise, it's mainly snow that we're concerned with Tuesday morning and afternoon. Now, the southern areas of our region may get a brief break from the precipitation late Tuesday afternoon and early Tuesday evening. So some areas may not see any precipitation for a few hours between that late Tuesday morning and early Tuesday evening stretch because of the orientation of this low pressure system. Remember, the center of this low will essentially be on top of our region, which means some areas will get a break from the precipitation and other areas will actually see snow coming down. So the northern areas, for example, will continue seeing that snow coming down basically all day. And that means if you're in the northern areas, you're going to definitely see some of the highest accumulations taking place there. But then watch what happens. Because of wraparound moisture from this low pressure system, that snow starts sliding into the southern areas of our region as we head into Tuesday evening. So by Tuesday evening, the precipitation makes a comeback in the form of snow as colder temperatures settle into our region. We'll see the snow letting up more and more as we head into Tuesday night, but snow showers will still bring at least some light snow accumulations even in the southern areas as we head into Tuesday night. And it's not until early Wednesday morning that we're left with cloudy skies and maybe a few isolated flurries. How much are we looking at? Maybe 6 inches of accumulation in the Northern Valley and parts of central and western Minnesota, as indicated by this dark band here. Maybe 3 to 6 inches out in Lake of the Woods County and in parts of Cass County. I'm thinking around at least the 2 to 4 inch mark in Fargo, and maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow in the James River Valley in southeast North Dakota, and less than 1 inch of snow in northeast South Dakota. In other words, the further north and east you go, the more snow you see. How much icing potential is there? This is something else we're going to have to keep an eye on. Probably a glaze of ice, less than 1/10 of an inch of ice. But notice where the ice is oriented at. if you were remembering the forecast correctly, if you remember that first alert forecast correctly, you may have noticed that some areas were seeing rain and other areas were seeing snow. That's because of how that freezing line, the line where we see that precipitation turn into rain or snow, was oriented. And generally that freezing line was oriented in this northwest to southeast direction, which unfortunately puts much of I-94, including Minneapolis, right in the line of fire for this ice. So that means you're going to want to plan for ice as well as snow accumulations. If you have to travel, make sure to have a winter weather plan in place. Give yourself some extra time on the roads just to account for the slick road conditions. Unfortunately, I also mentioned the winds were also going to be a problem on Tuesday too. That high wind watch for the James River Valley and those winter storm watches for the northern valley due to wind gusts of at least 40 miles per hour. Here's what that looks like. We'll see the winds picking up late Tuesday morning coming in from the south, gusting around 24, 25 miles per hour in Fargo, for example. Then as we head into Tuesday afternoon and the center of that low closes into our region, the southeastern North Dakota will see the winds really picking up from the northwest. I'm thinking by around 3 to 4 o'clock, we could see wind gusts up to 39 miles per hour in Jamestown, for example. And notice this orange color, this red color out west, that represents wind gusts exceeding 45 miles per hour. And we'll see that red sliding into southeast North Dakota and the southern valley throughout Tuesday evening. So the strongest winds will generally be in eastern North Dakota and the southern valley. And meanwhile, the northern areas of our region will see wind gusts staying above 30 miles per hour. So much of our region has the chance of seeing that blowing snow, blowing precipitation well into Tuesday evening. And that means even if the snow starts letting up a little bit Tuesday evening, you're still going to have to deal with slick roads, blowing snow, low visibility, and also, again, with wind gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour in, say, Sisseton and Wahpeton, for example, again, you're going to have to contend with flying debris if you don't tie down any outdoor items. Make sure that your holiday decorations are secured. We don't want flying debris because, that can cause power outages if, for example, a chunk of debris hits a power line. It's not until the overnight hours heading into Wednesday morning that the winds end up dying down. So basically, Monday and Tuesday, very active days. You'll definitely want that winter weather plan in place just in case. We're also going to keep an eye on Thursday too. A couple of models do suggest some snow chances on Thursday, although the timing is still being worked out with that system. While light snow is anticipated with Thursday's system, we could see a few strong wind gusts heading into early Friday morning, which could lead to a few more bouts of snow, which is why we are going to keep an eye on Thursday. I just wanted to give you that brief first alert heads up on that. Luckily, the weekend is expected to stay dry. Now, as for temperatures, well, right now we're still under the influence of this Arctic air mass, but look at all this mild air out west. It's making its way towards our region. So we will warm up as we head into the first half of this week. Look at tomorrow morning's temperatures. We'll be in the single digits, wind chills in the sub-zero range. But we warm up big time as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Highs will be in the teens to low 20s with wind chills above zero. So it's still cold out there, but it's not as cold compared to this weekend. And Tuesday morning will be about the same temperature as tomorrow afternoon's temperatures. We're looking at morning lows in the mid-teens to even low 20s out west. And look at the afternoon temperatures for Tuesday. Some areas will get above freezing. That's why these guys are anticipating rain and wintry mix. They're close enough to freezing that you could see some icing taking place, but they're enough above freezing that it starts out as rain and wintry mix at first. Meanwhile, you have temperatures in the 20s in northwest Minnesota and the the low 20s out of the international border, and those are areas that end up seeing snow mainly. That's why we're concerned about that wintry mix potential, because some areas will be near that freezing line, like say Valley City, Fargo, Wapaton, Sisseton, and those areas will be most susceptible to seeing that icing potential take place. So we're going to have to keep an eye on where that freezing line sets up, and in turn where that icing potential sets up. But either way, Tuesday is going to be messy. Definitely give yourself some extra time on the roads, have a winter weather plan in place, and the VNN weather app on standby. Now again, freezing line more or less oriented south northwest to southeast on Tuesday. Then Arctic air starts flowing back in after the winter storm moves east of our region on Wednesday. And so we're looking at highs in the single digits on Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. And then we may see sub-zero temperatures on Friday afternoon, depending on how much Arctic air flows in on that day. And in the long term, temperatures will more or less stay in the below normal to well below normal category well into mid-December, which means at best our highs will be in the mid-teens, and at worst our highs will only be in the single digits between this weekend and next week, compared to highs normally seen in the low 20s for this time of year. So we're going to be at least 10 or so degrees below normal in spots well into mid-December, and at worst we may be 20 degrees below normal well into this weekend and early next week. So you're going to want to bundle up, take some precautions, protect yourself from the cold as we continue into this trend of below average temperature. So let's recap everything. Tuesday is going to be the only day where we actually get towards that freezing line, and temperatures will be in the low 30s for Tuesday afternoon. But then watch what happens on Wednesday. We'll see temperatures taking a dive into the single digits. After seeing that snow in the northern areas on Monday and that snow mix and wind on Tuesday, we get a break for the precipitation on Wednesday afternoon. But again, make sure to have that winter weather plan in place for Monday and Tuesday, and it's going to be cold for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Look at this. Morning lows will be in the sub-zero range for Thursday and particularly on Friday and Saturday morning. It won't be until next week that temperatures, in fact, are back into the teens. So we're going to be on the frigid side. We'll be in the deep freeze for the rest of this week and this upcoming weekend once the snow moves out Tuesday. So I'm going to get off here, but I've been giving periodic weather updates on the VNN First Alert Weather app, and I'll also be on for Valley News Live at 9 and 10, so be sure to tune in for your First Alert forecast. Lisa Green will also be back for your Valley Today if you're not able to watch any of the shows for tonight. So I'm going to get off here. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful